Hello everyone, it's SolarFoxSpectre, and today I'm going to be showing you the updates that I have made to the Orium 2 datapack. The very first thing that I need to show you is the changes to the crafter. The workbench is no longer just the workbench. It starts with the tier 1, which you make by placing a log down and then dropping a crafting table on top of that. That gives you a tool table. Now, this tool table is oak. That's because I used an oak log. I could use any type of tree log that I wanted. For example, if I grabbed a birch log, made another one of those, and dropped this on here, birch tool table. It works exactly the same way. It just has a different texture. So nothing too fancy, but there it is. There are 3 different modes that a tool table has. The first one, the default one, is crafting mode. This is just a crafting grid in the standard 3x3 shape that produces items. Simple enough. Mode 2 is forging mode. This is used to make different tools, weapons, items, etc. Currently it's just pickaxes, and it produces them with whatever parts you use. Parts are made in a different table. I will explain that later. Modification mode is currently unimplemented, but will be the method in which you add a modifier to a tool to enhance it or to give it another ability or something to that effect. Moving on, you have the ability to make more tool tables inside of tool tables. The dropping a crafting table on a log is only required for the first iteration. Everything after that you can do with the tool table crafting exclusively. Now, if you have a tool table and you place it down, it's just a tool table. It can only do so much. Now, if you make this recipe inside of it, 4 iron blocks, 4 polished deep slate, and a crafting table, you will, instead of getting another item, you will instead get a workbench upgrade. The workbench upgrade can be used to, well, upgrade the workbench. It's a permanent upgrade, so even after you break the workbench, it will still break and drop a workbench item instead of a tool table item. And clicking that will shunt you out of it while it upgrades, has a little particle effect, and now it's a workbench. This seems nearly identical. The differences are the workbench has more available recipes and will have, this is also not exclusive yet, but in one of the upcoming updates I will make it so that more rare materials, metals and such, can only be forged in a workbench. But for now, the only difference is the recipes available to it. The thing is, to make tools, you need parts. Now, the parts are the number one thing that I have to go over in this video because of the fact that that is 90% of the update. Now, to get parts, you need 4 sticks, 4 planks. This you can make in a tool table. You're going to place them in this kind of configuration, and you'll get an impression table. The impression table is used to make parts out of whatever material you'd like. This chest actually has one of every currently functioning material. So if I were to say grab something like prismarine and wood, just because I can, and take them over to the impression table, I can put prismarine in here, and it will give me a prismarine glass pickaxe head. Prismarine glass is just the name of the material. It's not glass. It's got its mining level, its durability, its damage, its attacks per second, and modifier slots. And you click on different ones to get different patterns. Now, currently, again, it's just the head and the shaft. There will be more, and there's definitely a lot more room for it. The shafts are slightly different from the heads, in which they specify their durability multipliers, attack speed multipliers, and additional modifier slots. The shaft makes less of an overall difference than the head does in the event that the tool that you're making has both a head and a shaft. Some are a bit different. Bows, for example, you take 2 bow limbs, and it multiplies their statistics together. With a prismarine glass pickaxe head, you have pretty decent statistics, a mining level of diamond, durability of 400, and, so on and so forth. The modifier slots is the big thing with this one, and the tool shaft is rather subpar. The thing is, by getting different materials, you can, for example, gold, you can make up for bad statistics on your secondary one. If you need, for whatever reason, you need to make your pickaxe and you don't have very many modifier slots with the material you choose. If you go for some of the high durability ones, for example, most notably fiery ingots, which I will also explain how to make in a bit, fiery ingots have insane durability. They have no modifier slots. ever. They just do not have modifier slots. A full fiery pickaxe, a full fiery metal pickaxe, would have 10,000 durability between the head having 4,000 and the fiery tool shaft having 250% of a durability multiplier. This is the #1 durability material. There are a few things about this that are incomplete. For example, since modifiers are not fully implemented, the one feature that this pickaxe would have, because this pickaxe is made out of fiery metal, it will have the default modifier of auto smelt. That would be something that automatically comes alongside this material specifically, even though it gets no modifier slots, just because it makes sense. Let's say I wanted to make a high durability item like a fiery pickaxe head. So I make that. Well, in order to make this still have modifier slots, I need to use something that has a very high modifier offset alongside it. Gold has by far the most modifiers. It starts at 5 with the head. It has 4 extra for the shaft. And if you make a full golden item, you have 9 modifier slots. You probably will never use all of them. But there's another reason you wouldn't make a golden pickaxe anyway. Its durability is 32 and it has a mining level of iron. Unless you get the modifiers that increase durability or make it unbreakable, since you do have the slots for it, you can't really justify making a fully golden pickaxe. Now, unless you get the modifiers that increase durability substantially, in any way, shape, or form, golden anything is probably not the best material to build with, noting that its durability is 32, and this does no damage. This pickaxe head deals 0 damage because of how weak the material itself is. But it does attack really fast, I will say that. Of course, the golden shaft has a really high attack speed multiplier as well, and a durability multiplier of very little, so you combine these together and you get a whopping 8 uses to mine a block that is iron ore or weaker. There are alternatives. For example, popped chorus fruit will give you a decent number of modifiers, 3 on the spare and 4 on the primary. It's got a better mining level than gold, just not a great durability, only 300. It's pretty mediocre. But its durability modifier isn't bad. The purple shaft is actually one of the best shafts because of the fact that it doesn't negate any of the properties of the tool and simply adds 3 modifier slots. Now, if you are really rich and decided to make a netherite shaft, you will get 2 extra modifier slots, not as much as purple, but netherite is tied with purple for the number of modifier slots on the primary part of the tool. The shaft, however, is just 1 worse than the purple one. However, it does have 150% of a durability multiplier, which is one of the few that is over 100. I have the purple shaft. I have the fire pickaxe head. That's what I decided that I want to make my tool out of. So I can come over to here, switch it to forging mode, and I can put in the tool head and the shaft. Now, there's a problem. It's not giving me the result because it needs this middle piece. This middle piece, as of this update, is not as simple as a tool binding made out of the same material. That might be what I do in the future. This is subject to change, but as a placeholder for now, what you do is you put a stick into the tool table, doesn't matter where, again, shapeless recipe, you get a tool binding. This is just a temporary item that acts as the 3rd piece. You put that in and you will get the fiery pickaxe. This has 4,000 durability because that's what the head gives it, and the shaft has a multiplier of 100%, and it has 3 modifier slots, even though fiery has none, because purple has an additional 3. And you notice that attack speed and attack damage both are converted to statistics instead of shown as extra data. This pickaxe is actually pretty good. It will mine pretty quickly and has pretty good longevity, 2.5 times the durability that diamond has by default. Craft that, and now you have your pickaxe. Now, if I were to go over here to this wall, for example, switch myself to survival mode, you can see that it works as a pickaxe. Of course it does. It just mines 6 blocks, and it does in real time update the durability count on the item. Now, this is done dynamically, so you don't have to worry about any kind of weird glitches where it's not reading correctly. This is the actual number of uses that you have left. If you enable tooltips, you'll see 2 things about this pickaxe. First one is that it's a diamond pickaxe. The technical thing is a diamond pickaxe. The second thing you'll notice is that its durability, in actuality, is 1556 out of 1561, which is only 5 uses gone, but I have used, according to the top durability, I have used 12 uses. This is because the pickaxe will update its NBT data that says that it has 39,000 uses or 3,900 uses left, and it will make the durability of the item itself, the 1556, show up so that the durability bar on the item is the correct percentage. This will break on the last use. You can break exactly 4,000 blocks with this, and then it will shatter. So you need to keep it repaired. Now, repairing is, along with a number of other features, currently not an option because of the fact that this is an experimental version, if you will. The repairing feature doesn't work, but when it does, it will be something to the effect of putting it in a tool table with the appropriate material. That's the tools and a brief understanding of the materials involved. In addition to the tools and the materials and everything else that is involved here, there is a few other things that I need to go over before ending this video. The first one is how to get some things like the superconductive ingots. It's a bit of an involved process, but it starts with this thing. This thing is this is just the recipe too, a reconstruction or a redesign, if you will, of the mineral compressor. It is no longer called the mineral compressor, it is called the infusion furnace, and it is no longer a multi-block, it is a singular block. This block is used for making pseudo-alloys, if you will. Now, these are the 4 recipes that currently exist. This is the recipe for steel but with charcoal, for superconductive alloy, and for diamond steel, which is finally making a return. Now, if you put them in this particular order, there is an order requirement. It does matter which order you put these in. However, I do intend to make that not the case in the future. This is just the beta version. And you put some coal in the side. It will begin to merge the two. It will infuse them, if you will. I called this the infusion furnace because there's only one alloy in my pack, and the rest of the materials are all, well, technically not alloys. But now with a different recipe, and that being completed, you can see I have 2 steel ingots, which means that there's a lot of iron that goes into whatever steel item you're making. So if I drop a bunch of iron and coal in here, you'll see that it doesn't matter that I have more than 5 and 1 or 5 and 3 or whatever the ratio is. It will take whatever it needs to produce the result, and it does so in a pretty decent time. Each piece of coal will infuse 2 sets of items. So as soon as this one is done, you'll see what I mean. This one will finish, and then it will start burning another piece of coal, and this will get to 5 by the time this runs out. And 5, and it's done. That's all the stuff, all the fuel it had. And now I have 8 steel ingots. And as I say, there are additional recipes. For example, the copper and gold one, which happens in that ratio, 3:1, will produce superconductive alloy, the only alloy that exists in the pack. Superconductive ingot is the term for the ingot itself. All the stuff is just called superconductive. The word alloy never shows up other than the singular advancement that exists for making the infusion furnace. And the last recipe is crushed diamond and steel in a 2:8 ratio in order to make diamond steel. Making diamond steel fairly expensive and later game, but simply due to the fact that crushed diamond is harder to obtain than diamond. That is because of the fact that there's a lot of steps that go into it. The first one is the superconductor. You take 3 superconductive ingots and 6 redstone dust, and you will get 4 superconductor. This is just another crafting ingredient. It's used for other features. If I take these steel ingots, those superconductors, and go back over here, 4 steel ingots will make 2 gears if arranged in this diamond pattern. And 4 superconductors with 4 steel ingots will make a machine frame. And then you get the first machine that requires all of the above. Machine frames, you place these in the corner. Steel, you place along the outside. The gear you place in the center, this will give you the pulverizer. This is currently the last block in the pack that does anything to the effect of making items. These 5 are everything that currently exists. The pulverizer also operates off of coal and can just take a number of different items. I'm going to quickly empty my inventory. We'll take a number of different items. Currently, these are 4 of the primary recipes for it: bones, sugarcane, blaze rods, and diamond. If you put something like bone in, it will grind it down over the course of 5 seconds, giving you more bone meal, usually more bone meal, than you would get from doing it by default. The ratios for that are showed in the guidebook, which now includes pretty much every important thing that you need to go over. Miscellaneous crafting at the end just has some of the additional recipes, or ones that don't really fit in any specific area or don't deserve their own page. For example, the superconductor and machine frames that I already went over, as well as gears. If you need to know how to make anything, you can find it in the book. If you click on the title at the top of the page, it will take you back to the index. And if you click on any of these, it will take you to the appropriate page. So, for example, the infusion furnace, it will take you to the first page for that, show you how to make it, and then it shows you all of its recipes: the diamond, steel, superconductive ingots, and both steels. As you can see, the pulverizer uses machine frames, steel ingots, and gears, as I already showed you. And here are currently its 5 recipes. You can put blaze rod in it in order to get 2 to 5 blaze powder, so on average more. Bones in it to get 3 to 7 bone meal, on average more, again with a minimum of what you would normally get out of it. Sugarcane, 1 to 3 instead of it just being to 1. And diamond will give you 1 crushed diamond. There's also one for putting stone in. You get gravel and a 30% chance of getting iron nuggets. Pretty good stuff. Now, the diamond, being one of the important ones here, I can put that in, and it will grind it up for me. And I have a crushed diamond, which, as I showed, is used to get diamond steel. It has a few other uses, but that is its current primary one. And of course, I can stick any other materials in here to get whatever they would give me. So 4 blaze powder from 1 blaze rod, and with the sugar cane, let's see if I get lucky. And I got unlucky and just got the default 1, but you will always get at least minimum with these. Again, if there's any questions on how to make something, you can just consult the guidebook. The last thing is fiery metal that I was showing you before. These are the current recipes involved: 8 blaze powder and 1 netherrack. I'll actually just take these while I'm at it. 1 netherrack in the middle and 8 blaze powder surrounding it will give you an eternal flame. 8 of those surrounding a singular nether brick will give you fiery ingots. That's 64 blaze powder to get a single fiery ingot, which is the reason that this recipe is subject to change. I might make it so that blazes have a chance of dropping eternal flames automatically, or there might be some other source for it. I'm not sure yet. That's how you make the 1 obscure metal here, because you have, steel and diamond steel and superconductive ingots, which I've already explained. Gold, iron, netherite, which you can get in vanilla. Fiery was the odd one out. Netherite, I will be making have its own recipe in the infusion furnace. It'll probably be the same as vanilla, with 4 netherite scrap and 4 golden ingots going into 1 netherite ingot. But I might make it some better ratios just to make it a little bit more favorable in the pack. I'm not sure yet, but again, there's always going to be one feature that I have wanted to do, which is the datapack disable on vanilla. And if you disable vanilla with the way that I intend to implement the pack, it will remove the vanilla crafting recipes for tools, as well as the vanilla netherite recipe and a few other things. This will allow you to force the pack to be used instead of making it optional, because as it stands, everything in the pack is optional. You can go around all of it, use strictly vanilla stuff, which is great for servers where you want some people to be able to use vanilla tools and weapons, and other people to use the data pack where they want. But if you want it to be forced, you can disable vanilla, or you can do that upon world generation, whatever you need. And my pack will re-add everything that the vanilla pack has that doesn't conflict with it. My pack, Orium 2, will add back to the game every feature that exists in the vanilla pack that doesn't conflict with Orium. In other words, disabling vanilla will strictly disable the features like the vanilla tools and armor crafting, because I do intend to make my materials work for armor as well. Everything can be found in the guidebook if you need to know how to craft it or how to use it. And it does give an explanation for all of them. It doesn't give all the exact data for every material. It does just give a description, but if you look in the part table before committing to making it, you can always just put the material in and it will show you its statistics before you craft it. Also note that right now it only takes one material for each piece. This is also subject to change. But yeah, the guidebook will show you all the information you want involving any of the materials that can be used, other than, of course, which is still a secret for good reason. But that is all that I have to show you today. Thank you for watching. If you liked it, please like it so that I know that, people like it. And have a good day.